Okay, so this is my audience. They're going to be sitting right outside the camera behind me, but they'll be watching my speech the whole time. So, my topic is multitasking, and not just about multitasking, but how it's actually inefficient and not necessarily possible. So, as college students, we have very busy lives and very busy schedules. So, we think that we need to get as many tasks done at the same time as possible just to be more efficient and stay on time, get to classes, do everything we need to do. So, that's basically what multitasking is. Is by definition, it's doing multiple tasks at the same time. And we use it for efficiency, um, getting things done in time, such as that. And according to Project Manager, life actually requires multitasking, and there's no way to necessarily avoid it because of such busy lives in the upbeat society of today and how fast we're moving. And so, this is why, to me, I believe it is inefficient. So, your brain can't necessarily focus on multiple things at one time. In fact, your brain actually switches back and forth. And so, in turn, you're actually having to take more time because your brain can't fully focus on one task. It has to go from task A and then you switch over to task B. So now your brain has to refocus onto task B and then go back to task A and so forth. And because of this, you're not allowing yourself to fully focus on the task, therefore slowing you down and putting less effort or less work into the task. And that means with less focus, it's going to take longer to get a better result, better end finish, end product. It's just not going to be as beneficial and as good of a product in the end. And here's actually a quick video that I'll show that represents that in an extreme case.
As you can see, you're over there now, and there are three familiar looking babies in front of you with different color outfits on. Here's what's going to happen. Each time one of these babies cries, you have to change their diapers with a corresponding diaper that is behind you on that table.
Hello, little baby.
Link, it's important that you.
Sir?
It's important that you listen. You're going to have to multitask.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Change those diapers according to the color that the toboggan or the beanie, whatever you want to call it. And then, while you're doing that, I'm going to be asking you a series of yes or no questions that you should know the answer to. Okay? You just give me the answers, yes or no.
Yes or no.
In between some of the questions, I'll be saying words, just random words. And then at any point I say recall, you have to say those words back to me in the order that you have heard them.
Good luck.
Okay? You ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go. Is your middle child named Lily?
No.
Does 2 plus 5 minus 1 equal 6?
No.
Wrong. Owl. Is a hamburger a sandwich?
Okay. Yes.
Dumplings. Recall.
Owl dumplings.
Is Mark Wahlberg a vampire?
No. Don't you pee on me.
Are you left-handed? Are you left-handed?
No. Yes, maybe.
Taste. Are hammer pants still cool?
Yes.
Like. Like. Have you ever touched a college professor's shoulder with your butt?
Yes.
Recall.
Owl. Plate. Oh no.
Plate is not one of the words.
I don't
Dumplings.
know any of the other words.
Owl dumplings.
Owl dumplings.
Taste like.
Okay, so that was an extreme example of things that you might have to do in your daily life. And those are usually three separate, very easy tasks. But when you put them all together, your brain is having to switch between all of them so fast that he clearly wasn't able to efficiently do any of the tasks, resulting in bad performance through all of them. And so this is actually why this leads to why it's actually impossible to multitask. And there's a slight variation to why people would think it is true because your brain, according to National Public Radio, your brain can't focus on two things at once. However, your brain has a left and right side. And so if you hit two different things, such as listening to classical music that has no words in it and you writing an essay, those two things, since they don't verbally contrast, you can do them efficiently at the same time. However, if you're not trying to listen to music that has words in it and then go write your essay, your brain is having to focus between two different sets of words because you're writing words and listening to words, and that's when they clash, and your brain can't do that. And so that's why National Public Radio is saying that your brain can't focus on multiple things at the same time. And in fact, you're actually just switching, like I said earlier, back and forth between tasks extremely quickly. So we believe it's multitasking because our brain is processing it so fast that we're doing two tasks, but really your brain is taking more time to process what is actually happening to go back and forth. And that just causes a lot of issues, like I said. So in reality, while it seems like we're actually multitasking is just a definition word that we created, and by definition of what it truly means is actually impossible to when you process it through your brain. So overall, multitasking is not necessarily the term that we know it as, and rather your brain just switching between tasks extremely quickly, and it makes it inefficient because your tasks are done with less focus, and it's rather actually impossible unless you're hitting two sides of your brain left and right, which is a lot more complicated than it seems. But overall, it's not a good idea to multitask. It's not to the extent that we know, and just really isn't practical or possible. So thank you for listening to my speech about multitasking.